You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Shari Einhorn. Nassau County declaring a public health threat because of the spread of rabies. 25 cases in raccoons and feral cats have been confirmed in the county since last year. The health department says it will continue to use baits that immunize raccoons to reduce the spread. Anyone bitten or scratched by an animal is being told to get immediate medical care and call the Department of Health. That number, 516-227-9663. A woman has been sentenced to up to 10 years in prison for a deadly crash. Rachel Lodice pleaded guilty to manslaughter and admitted to driving recklessly while high on marijuana. The 22-year-old crashed into another vehicle and killed that driver. The crash happened in April of last year on Sunrise Highway in Massapequa. A Coram woman has pleaded not guilty to murder in the deadly shooting of her boyfriend. An attorney for Ashley Guymont says it was self-defense and that she was a victim of domestic violence. The boyfriend, Alex Carter, was fatally shot at their apartment on July 4th. Guymont is being held without bail. Malcolm Jamal Warner, known for his role on The Cosby Show, has died. Authorities say the actor drowned in Costa Rica after being pulled away from the beach and into deeper water by the current. Warner, seen here several years ago on Newsday TV's The Buzz, played the role of Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. The actor was 54 years old. Billy Joel speaking publicly about his health. The Piano Man saying he's having problems with his balance. Joel made the announcement on Bill Maher's podcast. The Hicksville-raised artist was recently diagnosed with a brain condition called normal pressure hydrocephalus. And now let's take a quick look at tomorrow's weather. You can expect temps in the mid to upper 70s with partly cloudy skies. We'll take a closer look at your 7-day forecast in just a moment.
Within moments of my inauguration, we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history.
On the campaign trail, then presidential candidate Donald Trump promised to deport the worst of the worst. Violent criminal offenders was a term used often.
We have never committed even the most minor crime.
20-year-old Sarah Lopez Garcia is the Suffolk Community College honors student who was arrested by immigration agents at her Mastic apartment in May. She had no criminal record and said she had a special juvenile immigration status, which is no longer being recognized. 41-year-old Fernando Mejia was a popular manager of Schmear Bagel and Cafe in Port Washington. He was detained in June on his way back from making a food delivery and also had no criminal history. Advocates and immigration attorneys argue neither of them are violent criminal offenders and say their stories are more of the reality of what's happening here on Long Island.
What do we do? Stand up, fight back!
Most people that are being apprehended right now do not have any criminal record. You know, their families, they're people who are showing up for work every day.
With the recent passage of Trump's mega bill, which includes $170 billion for immigration enforcement, larger questions are now being asked about the future of the country's undocumented population.
How do we create exemptions or carve-outs for certain working class groups, for certain, farmers, hospitality workers, people who have been in the country for more than a decade and have paid their taxes. So, on both sides of the aisle, we're seeing those discussions happen. But again, this is an issue that hasn't solved itself for more than 40 years.
Republican Congressman Nick LaLota said in a statement, in part, "I would support legislation that offers long-term work visas, not citizenship, Medicaid, or SNAP, to the best of the best, nonviolent non-citizens who are here unlawfully but are willing to come forward, pass a background check, pay a fine, and get on a taxable payroll." Andrew Garbarino, who reached out to the White House regarding the college students' case, tells Newsday in a statement, immigration enforcement is critical, but the deportation of gang members, drug dealers, and criminals should be prioritized before a college student. Honorio, a 34-year-old farm worker, husband and father of 3 from Mexico, says the mass deportations are creating fear and panic among workers who acknowledge they entered the country illegally, but say they've been here for years and are working hard.
I
think they should, for example, look for the ones who are criminals, the real criminals. Everyone agrees with that, but when they take a worker who is going to work, I think that's wrong because he's coming to pursue a dream.
I'm Shari Einhorn for Newsday TV.
Looking back at a legacy of life-saving, we're highlighting the 106 Rescue Wing's response in the wake of a devastating storm.
It was like a scene out of Mad Max or something, you know?
The elite West Hampton beach-based search and rescue unit responded to the aftermath of Hurricane Irma, which devastated parts of the Caribbean back in 2017.
There was a lot of people trying desperate to get out.
Combat Rescue Officer Lieutenant Colonel Sean Bogle and his team were deployed to Puerto Rico, but eventually headed to St. Martin, where the situation was desperate.
A nice, lush, green island and palm trees and whatnot. All that was gone, and it was like flying around the mountains of Afghanistan. It was all brown, and all the vegetation had been basically blown away. Boats, cars, houses flattened.
The 106 linked up with other responding military units, most from different countries.
It's mayhem on the island, but there's a lot of Americans that need to get out.
Among them, a U.S. airman and his wife, stranded on the island, facing a life-threatening situation.
They're honeymooning in St. Martin. The woman is a diabetic and has no insulin, and she ran out, and it's desperate.
There was violence and there was looting, and the roads were blocked as the team searched for the couple.
They had to go through the island. They had to find them because it was not easy to find them. They had to basically commandeer or get a vehicle from the Dutch Marines. All the while, there's lawlessness going on, looting.
They got them out safely. We spoke to the grateful husband.
We both wanted to cry tears of joy that we made it. I think when we saw that plane coming in to approach to land, that gave us a lot of hope. And then, on the aircraft, we kind of just stared at each other and smiled that we made it, and we were rescued by that team and by that unit, and we were just so thankful.
And with another Category 5 hurricane closing in on them roughly 24 hours away, the team packed C-130s with anyone who needed saving.
A day out of making a direct hit on St. Martin again. So you could imagine the state, and the people there knew it. You can imagine the panic and whatnot that was going on. Time wasn't on our side to try to get as many people out as we could. They didn't think they'd make it off the island alive to then getting saved. So you can imagine how happy they felt.
For 3 days, the 106th, alongside Puerto Rican and Kentucky Guard units, Dutch Marines, and local responders, evacuated more than 1,000 people, bringing some help to a devastated paradise.
Our mission is to save lives. Everyone who enters this unit, they know that from day one, and whatever training they're doing, that's what you're doing it for.
Ken Bufa, Newsday TV.
Now let's take a closer look at your 7-day forecast. It looks like it's going to be a nice week ahead. We've got sunny skies, warm temperatures straight through the weekend.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Sun Nation Energy, helping Long Island homes and businesses save with solar for over 20 years. Only in Newsday, there are over 50,000 unlicensed drivers on Long Island who are more likely to be involved in deadly crashes. What can be done to keep you safe? Dangerous roads, unlicensed drivers, now available at Newsday.com.
You're watching Newsday TV. For more on all of the stories you've seen here today, head over to Newsday.com and click Get More under the Newsday TV video box. I'm Shari Einhorn. Thanks for joining us.
Watch Newsday TV on the big screen. Use the remote to activate Siri, Alexa, Roku, or the Google Assistant on your streaming device. Say, install Newsday. Newsday TV, covering Long Island like no one else can. Get more of the stories you've seen on Newsday TV at Newsday.com. Plus breaking news, investigations, things to do, restaurants, and other Long Island news you can't get anywhere else. At Newsday.com, covering Long Island like no one else can.